So I think it's going to be like 80 degrees today. We're going to let these chickens out because they don't come up as much. The other ones, if we let them out, they'll be right in front of all the building. And so we'll let these ones free range.
I got your chair. Here. I'm going to go get one.
Okay. You going to chit-chat with me? Yeah. Okay. What a pretty day.
Been hard at work.
What'd you do?
I did the whole entire wall. I screwed some stuff in. I even took a chalk. Got my hands dirty.
So something I have been thinking about a lot is that, so we have 2 different flocks of chickens, right? And not everybody's a believer in God, and that is okay. But I just wanted to kind of give you my take. Because there's so much to learn from watching animals, right? And so in every single flock, there's a pecking order, right? There's those at the top and those at the bottom. And actually, Bobby, I think, is bringing over the one at the bottom. Is that the one? That's so funny. So this goes with kind of what I was talking about today. Okay, so the one at the bottom. And so each group has one. So this is the one from the top flock, and she is the bottom girl that is often always left out. They pick on her. They don't let her eat. They don't let her drink water. And so she's always by herself, and she comes on the deck a lot to sit with us and follow us around. She's like a little lone ranger, a wanderer, and she reminds me much of myself. And I got this little girl with me because all the flocks are out, and for some reason she is always by herself, and I don't know why. And I'll bring her back when she was little, back with the flock, but she is just always alone. So she was laying on the deck by herself. I even had one in Texas too. I remember we had bought a flock of Morans, yeah, and the guy who sold them to us gave them to us sick, and we didn't know that. This is a learning lesson of being very careful who you buy your chickens from, and this was over 10 years ago, right? And the first time that we did such a thing. Anyway, they all died off except for one. And eventually when she got bigger, I tried to introduce her to the flock, and they were like beating her up so horribly. So she had to, which I didn't know everything, that I should have let them beat it out. I was just petrified that the chicken was getting beat up. Eventually they work itself out. And so I put, the one had to live alone. Hey, Mama. Oh no, she left me. Ended up having to live alone. And so all the other girls would pick on her, and so I would let her out of the cage, and I would give her love and give her feed, and you would see, I actually have a picture. If I could find it, I'll add it into this video. But that they like hated her, and they would see her getting extra love and attention. So this one that you just saw, a lot of times my husband or I will get extra feed and feed her out of our hands and things like that. Give her no feed. All right, hold on. Because she's left out, and that's kind of the way that God sees us. Like, he loves all of us, right? And sometimes those who are lowest on the totem pole, right, are not getting treated so nicely, he'll take like in his hand and take care of them and show them his favor. And so then the other ones will get angry that she's getting all of this food. Even though you have all that food, you wouldn't let her have any of this food, right? And so that's how God is with us sometimes. There's a scripture, that talks about him being like a hen who gathers his chicks under his wings. He loves to comfort us. He loves to take care of us, and he'll go out of his way, right? But anyway, this one. So now this coop down here, which we're sitting next to, has one that I have shown you before. Oh, here, see? Look at this girl. She is the lowest on the totem pole. They have pulled all of her feathers out. They beat her up. The girl is scared. She literally runs. If they peck her once, she will run across the field or run back into the coop. It's so sad because we'll want to give her the feed. We'll want to help her, but she won't let us, right? She runs away from us. Where this one will come, let us pick her up, let us feed her and comfort her. This one refuses it, right? And it's so sad because God is like that with us sometimes, where he wants to help us. He wants to take away our burden, right? He wants to fill us with his goodness, but we won't accept it, right? And I've seen that in the lives of so many people because they've been hurt before. They've been betrayed. They've been
She's going up porch.
Maybe hurt by the church or things like that. And so they take their, what happened to them, like let's say through the church and things like that, and they blame God for it. Meanwhile, God is not people, right? People are fallible. People are going to fail. People are going to hurt us, right? But God never will, right? And he says, never will I leave you or forsake you. And so a lot of times people just shut him out. And they put these walls up. And no, I don't want anybody's help. I don't need your help, because they've had to learn how to be a survivor. This chick here has had to learn how to be a survivor and take care of herself, because if she doesn't, she can't get food, right? Or can't get water. But there's people like us, like when you're a shepherd or somebody who has animals, that go out of our way to make sure, that is our job, to make sure that they're all taken care of. And so sometimes they need special treatment. And that's what God will do. And he's always sitting like with his arms open, ready and willing to help us.
And give us food.
And give us food, right? And nourishment and peace.
It's kind of like someone's in the desert for 3 days and they haven't had water. Imagine how thirsty they would be. But God just makes a whole cup of water for them.
Like Psalm 23, he says, my cup overflows, right? David's cup overflows. But that's the sad part to me, is that there are so many people who have been hurt and wounded, and I totally get it. I've been there before. And so they want nothing to do with love, nothing to do with God, nothing to do with other people, right? And sadly...
That's crazy that I just found this in the chair. It says nothing but.
So what does that mean?
Remember how you're saying they didn't want nothing about Jesus?
When he talks about the hens, he says, how I've longed to gather you as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, but you would not let me. And it makes me so sad, because it's like I sat out recently, last week, the other night, I saw that they were beating her up. I saw that she was hungry, so I let all of them go into the coop and I closed it. And I took feed before I closed the door. And I put that extra out and put it on the floor in front of the coop, and I was hoping she would come by, and then she kept looking but wouldn't come near me. And I wanted to teach her to trust me, and so I wouldn't even move an inch. Like, normally I can move around the chickens, right? But this one is it's been hurt, it's scared, that, you're trying to do everything to let it know it's okay, right? You can trust me, I'm not going to hurt you. And so eventually she did. And so she was coming over, and then I'm so happy, because she finally gets to eat a meal in peace and doesn't have to worry about getting beat up every few seconds every time she tries to take a bite. And so then I took more. And it's crazy, and again, I'm not moving, but it's so funny that then I went to put a little more near her, and she went to bite me, right? And it's just so nuts, right? You've seen her try to bite before.
I put my foot out, she's like, but she's still too scared to even touch me.
I know, but she goes to bite.
Her match is like, if you're lower than her, she's gonna fight you.
Yeah, but it's a fear mechanism, right? It's like there's a thing called fight or flight. Some people run away in fear, and some fight when they're scared. And so that's like what that was. She's protecting herself, even though I'm not harming her,
I need a drink.
right? And this is like actually what it was like for my husband and me when he met me. I had been so hurt by so many people, right? The people that you love and are supposed to be able to trust, that hurt you. And so what do? You put walls up. And I had all of these walls up, and I was like, nobody's getting through that sucker. And so my husband jokes and says he had to sit there with like a little, chipper, chipping away at those hard recesses in my heart. And he was like the good shepherd that came in and was teaching me, no matter what I did, because I would do things like that. I would lash out or try to bite like the chicken would, because it's scary. Right? And you're not used to people being nice. You're used to people that are going to hurt you, betray you, do all these things. And so you react before it even happens, right? And I remember one day my husband saying to me, because I called him up in one of my crazies. He was not my husband yet. This was the beginning of us dating. And he says, it was the best time of my life. Because I found him, and he said that was like the worst time of his, because that was really hard dealing with my emotions and craziness and things like that. Because then I called him up and I was like, I can't do this. And this was like the 200th time that I did that to him, because it's scary, right? Commitment was scary to me, because I just have always been hurt. And at that point in my life, I'm like, I don't have time for anybody. And I remember him I was sitting on the phone with him. I pulled into my driveway, my apartment that I had been renting at that time, and I'm just like staring at this huge tree in front of me, and I remember him just saying, like, why are you so scared of a good thing? Like, why does it have to be bad? Why does the idea of a relationship have to be bad? And I thought, like, how sad is that? All I can see is destruction. All I can see is that it's going to come up in flames. You know what I mean? That I never could imagine a good outcome, a good experience. And so I remember thinking, like, just like, wow, he's right. I'm scared that it's just going to fall apart. And thank God, man, it is hard to be vulnerable. I know it because, oh my gosh, it is hard to be vulnerable. Put yourself out there and put your heart back on the line, because that's like, man, that hurts when it gets crushed, and that hurts when, oh, there's so much pain already, right? But he came in, oh my gosh, just like God. I remember reading the scriptures about like what true love is supposed to be like, laying your life down, right? God laid down his life for us. He sacrificed his own life for us. And then I start seeing how sacrificial he was. I'm like, he's doing nice things for me. He's going out of his way for me. And it was genuine. It wasn't like because he's looking to get something. He just genuinely was trying to show me that you can trust me. I'm not going to hurt you. And he was showing me we're not all the same, right? I know you've had a bad image of relationships in the past. I know that people have hurt you in the past, but I'm not here to do that. And he taught me what unconditional love was, right? The same thing that I had to learn when I started reading the Bible, right? When I started learning about God, because all that I saw my whole life was hypocrisy. People who talk about God, that they love him, and yet they treat everybody around them that they love horribly, right? And it's like, this is God? This is what God's like? And that he was a scary God. And that's what I would think, that he always wanted to crush me. And until I started learning for myself, right? Because people are going to be an example, or are supposed to be an example, right? Especially believers are supposed to be an example of God. But a lot of times we have the wrong example and the wrong image that people have portrayed, when God is not even like that. So when I started reading the Bible and seeing what a good God he was, that his love was unconditional, right? I grew up with conditional love. If you don't do this, right, you know, and then you're checked off, right? They wash their hands of you. But God is not like that. It's like, it doesn't matter how bad you suck. You can't get rid of him, right? Psalm 139 is like, where can I flee from your presence? Where can I go? If I go to the depths of hell, you're there. Like, he never leaves us, right? His love is just so good. And so my husband was such a picture of God and how God loves us. And no matter how hard we try to fight him, run away from love, shut that door, he's still knocking. And he's still saying, please, how I've longed to gather you as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings. But you wouldn't let me take care of you. You don't have to carry all those heavy burdens, right? Come to me, all who are weary
and heavy laden,
and I will give you rest. Right? There are so many people like this chicken that run around and they can't rest because they're trying to figure everything out themselves. They've been carrying the burdens and the weights of this life every day, that they don't know what it is to say, I can give that burden to God. I can trust him because he is a good shepherd, because he does look out for my well-being, right? The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in
green pasture.
Yeah, he leads me beside still
waters.
He restores my soul. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no
evil.
For you are
with me.
Your rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Right? Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. That is what God wants for us. That peace, right? We can't look at people as examples. Maybe there have been pastors, priests, teachers, leaders, believers who have been a poor example and made you see God in a different light. But I am here to tell you that he is a good God, a merciful God, slow to anger, full of kindness, full of compassion, full of mercy. And once you get a taste of that, man, everything changes, right? It was a process for me to learn how to trust. But man, my husband was steadfast. I was like waiting for a reason. I was waiting for him to do something bad so I could just say, I'm done. But before we were married, right? Because I was just in that mindset. of everybody's out to get me. Everybody, I mean, because that's what I experience in all of my relationships. But then you start to realize there is good, guys. Don't shut it all out just because you've had a bad experience. Ask God to show you who He truly is, and I guarantee that He will. Right?
Mm-hmm.
She took it all. Did you get a treat?